Greetings and salutations to all of our lovely listeners. Welcome back to The Swamp. It's our podcast, and it's an acronym.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
And today, we're coming at you with a really iconic and important film. Because many of you would think that we were gonna save this, because we did Shrek 1. You know, our podcast is called The Swamp. It is canonically probably the movie that overlaps with our branding the most, right? And so we did Shrek 1 for our 1-year Swampiversary, the 1-year anniversary of the podcast, and many would think that we would save Shrek 2 for our second Swampiversary, but no, that's tired, that's broke, and we were not going to do the predictable thing. I'm sure so many of you were just hemming and hawing and just really thinking hard about what we were going to do. But so we've decided to round out Sequel September with the greatest sequel film ever made. I'll say it with my chest. Fuck The Godfather 2. I mean, there are great sequels out there, don't get me wrong. This is in my, when it comes down to it, this is the best sequel.
This is it.
Film ever made. We're covering Shrek 2 this week, obviously. And we'll do some other, swamp-related... Well, I'm open to suggestions for, swamp-related things for our second-year Swampiversary will be in February. So we've got, a minute to go. But if you can, I don't know, think of another swampy-related movie for us to do, because we're foregoing the Shrek tradition, because God knows I'm not fucking covering Shrek 3 on this podcast.
No. See, the only thing I, would do Shrek 3 for is just for that one scene where the king is dying, and they're, in the middle of having an argument or something like that, and Shrek's like, someone better be dying, and then it cuts to him, and he's like, I'm dying. So corny, but so good.
Shrek 3, I think, has, a handful of, meritable moments, but overall, trash. Shrek 1 was the greatest film ever made, and then somehow they made Shrek 2, which was then the greatest film ever made. And then Shrek 3 was trash, Shrek 4 was trash, all of the, holiday-related sequels have been trash. I cannot tell you a single thing about any Shrek franchise beyond 1 and 2. That is all, canonically, to me, only 1 and 2 exist.
Yeah, it's because Mike Myers' ego just got so big for past this that it just killed the rest of the franchise.
Yeah, it'll happen. Well, also, I would say, within the Shrek canon, to me, Shrek the Musical, I'm not going to go off about it because I talked a fair amount about it when we covered Shrek, which, go back and listen to our Shrek episode. It was a lot of fun. But I'm a whore for Shrek the Musical. I'm pretty sure it's available to watch on Netflix. They just have filmed the whole Broadway thing, and you could just watch it on Netflix. It's so fucking good. It's just as good as the movies. And they go into, history and, lore and stuff. Ooh. It's really good stuff. We're covering Shrek 2 this week, and I think we both would similarly have the same history of, that we saw this when we were children, and recognized it as a child as being oh, this movie fucking slaps so hard, and then all through adulthood just continue to recognize that as fact.
Yeah, basically. That's exactly how it went. I definitely like this movie better, too, which is, might be a hot take. I don't know, because I know, Shrek is so iconic in itself, you know what I mean? Which, I will give it that, it has shaken up, cinema as a whole. We would be in an entirely different world if Shrek didn't exist. But this movie is the one that really does it for me. It really scratches my brain, gives me a hug, gives me a kiss, tucks me into bed. I love this movie.
Yeah, before we started this, you said that you're oh, it might be controversial, but I think this one is better. I don't think that's controversial because I wholeheartedly agree with you that I do think that this is just objectively... Shrek 1 is amazing, but Shrek 2, I think, pound for pound, is funnier. To me, it takes all of the space in Shrek 1 that was taken, establishing, the setting and the characters. We don't even need to do that here anymore. We can just get right down to, the jokes hit so hard. Every single line has like a double meaning or joke to it. Every visual thing, there's always something funny happening on screen, and every joke fucking lands. Like,
every single one.
Without fail. And to me, this is, both Shrek 1 and Shrek 2 both do this, where it's the perfect blend of humor that children will get, but also humor that adults will get, but also not, like, going over the kids' heads. It's, like, still funny to a kid. Like, specifically the scene that really stands out to me is when they do the parody of, like, the cop show.
So
like,
good.
And, like, as a kid, that's still really funny and exciting, but then as an adult, you realize that they're, like, grinding a pepper grinder into his eyes, and, like, that's pepper spray, and that's funny. And as a kid, you might not get that, but you still think it's fucking funny. Like, it's still absurd and ridiculous. And I think so many kids' movies try to do the, like, we're gonna throw in a joke for the adults here. And it just, and as an adult, it just feels, like, tired. But with Shrek, it's, like, it's working for both.
It's so good. I love the amount of, like, movie... Like, every time I watch this, too, which is not super frequent by any means, but, like, every, like, couple of years, whenever I see this movie, I, like, get more and more of the references that are being made, because there's so many other movie references in this movie, which I love. And as someone who is just, like, chronically, like, invested into, like, pop culture and just online and everything like that, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, oh my god, when is she... I actually, the night before, had just watched Aliens 2.
That's so funny.
So it was just, like, just by happenstance, so that was pretty funny. But the reference that I picked up this time that I never got before was during the ball, they have Joan Rivers.
Yeah,
just like they just have
that.
a woman who just like looks and talks like Joan Rivers and is commenting on everyone's outfits, and I was like, that's fucking that's Joan Rivers. Like, they're doing a Joan Rivers bit, which, like, you know, why would I have ever recognized that as a child? But and I agree with you. I don't watch this movie a ton, but when I do, I'm like, oh, this is really good stuff. So, do we want to get into a little bit of a recap? If you haven't seen Shrek 2, what the fuck have you been doing? Like, come on. And the plot is pretty simple for this one. It's just that Shrek and Fiona have gotten married, and they have to go to the kingdom to meet her parents, and they want to do a whole, like, kingdom celebration. And basically then they realize that Fiona is an ogre and has married an ogre and hasn't accepted full princesshood in the way that they saw, like, they envisioned for her. And basically it's, like, a pretty tough for them to be like, we're ogres now, and everyone's like, what the fuck? Stinky? No! And so then Shrek kind of starts to feel insecure that maybe he is not, like, giving Fiona the best, you know, life that she could possibly have. The fairy godmother, who wants her son Prince Charming to marry Fiona, she starts to meddle with potions and trickery, and basically she has something that she's holding over the king, so he is also incentivized to kind of finagle Shrek away to get her to marry Fiona, to marry Prince Charming. And so through a series of love potions and body transformation potions, Shrek turns into a human and Donkey turns into a horse. And then they kind of have that whole hijinks where he basically is like, well, and Fiona turns back into a human as well, and he's going to be like, oh, we can be people so that you can be happy. But then Prince Charming pretends to be Shrek and is like, I'm Shrek. And she's like, you're not really Shrek. And he's like, well, the potion changed me. I'm British now. And then she's, like, feeling iffy about it. But, like, okay, I guess this is how it's gonna go. And Shrek is like, oh no, she's so happy now, I'm gonna leave. But then he realized that there's been trickery afoot, and then they do a big chase sequence. All of the homies from back at the swamp come in, they do a big hijinks, big save the day, bust in at the last moment, and, you know, Shrek is like, Fiona, it's me, don't kiss Prince Charming. And then they get back together, and then they both turn back into ogres, because that's who they really are on the inside.
It's heartwarming.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful film.
This movie is, like, so seared into my brain. Like, watching this, like, I feel like it's just, I have, like, so many more memories of this movie than this first movie, honestly. And maybe that's just me and, like, how many times I watched as a child. But I think part of that is the soundtrack, honestly. Because it goes so hard I could vomit. Like, it's hard to say that, because we did the first Shrek we did, like, sequels month, like, in February, or not sequels, sorry, soundtracks. We did soundtracks in February, and that was, like, how we kicked it off. And this soundtrack, again, it's so good, I think it tops the first one.
It has no right going as hard as it does, and that's what I think Shrek 2 does so perfectly, is that it takes all of the successful elements of Shrek 1 and either to the same level or elevation, right? Because the soundtrack didn't have to go this hard. The soundtrack to number 1 already went so hard, they didn't have to, but they stepped up, and this one has musical numbers.
I was gonna say,
like,
the fairy godmother's entrance is so cunt. Her song, oh my god. I would sing that in my car.
I Need a Hero musical number.
Don't even get me
literally
started.
changed the fiber of my being.
I'm a different person after watching that.
So a thing that happened to me, well, it didn't happen to me. I forced it upon myself.
Oh.
So for anyone who doesn't know, I went to grad school and I have my master's degree in advertising, which
Bold of you.
There's no reason for anyone to do that, really, but I still did it. And so I was taking a copywriting class, and we had to write an ad for those Listerine strips.
Love those.
They look like little LSD tabs, those Listerine strips. And so I wrote my whole ad basically to emulate the fairy godmother's I Need a Hero song. Just because I was like, what else? I'm gonna write a fun ad about Listerine strips, and it was like that there was garlic breath, and then a fairy who is the Listerine strip comes in and sings I Need a Hero because she's the hero and she's gonna get rid of your garlic breath. It was genius. And it was culturally referencing, and I thought it was great, but the professor told me that it was so bad that in the real life he would have fired me on the spot. He said, it makes no sense. And I'm like, sorry you've never seen Shrek 2, Kevin.
Fired on the spot? Damn.
Yeah, he said, I would tell you to get out of my office. He wrote GOOMO on my paper, and he said, that stands for get out of my office. But I thought, I was like, I stand by it. I thought it was funny.
Good for you.
Yeah, I guess some people just don't have the bug for Shrek 2 like I do.
It's a damn shame.
But also a musical aspect of this movie that I so felt like I was robbed of this watch around was, I think I've talked a fair amount in the past about my love for DVD home screens, and how I think that with streaming we're just losing that as an art form.
I know exactly where you're bringing this
together, and this is the prime example of that. The Shrek 2 DVD at the end of the movie, it kicks you back to the home screen where you then play American Idol, and they have Simon Cowell, and you get to pick which character sings, and then it was interactive, it was fun,
Genius.
it made sense in the context of the movie because everyone in the movie is singing, so it makes sense to kind of have them be singing again, right? Because Donkey and Puss in Boots do their little number at the end too. It was perfect, and that is the part of this movie that I think I remember the most as a kid and remember enjoying the most. It's once the movie was over, getting to go through and select, because then you get to pick who wins or whatever. Yeah. It was fun, and it was perfect, and it made sense, and it was funny, and I was waiting for it. I was like, maybe it won't be interactive, but maybe I can still watch it. But no, the movie just, because they have the post-credit scene where Dragon comes back with the fucked up donkey babies, and I was like, oh, there's the post-credit scene here, maybe they'll do the American Idol thing, but
I think it strictly,
unfortunately, that has been lost.
I think it strictly exists on YouTube now, but obviously not interactive, which is a shame. I remember that a lot as a kid. That was you get excited for the movie to be done.
Yes.
So you get to do that.
I always loved the Three Blind Mice.
Love them.
Saying I can see clearly now the rain has gone. Oh, just
iconic.
So funny. And that's as a kid, you're like, hey, I get it. Hey. That's a pun. But I think, and there also is something, I don't agree with Matt Damon very often, just as a figure.
I've seen this. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, on Hot Ones, the Hot Ones interview show, which is really great. He kind of talks about how the loss of DVD sales post-movie has kind of killed a lot of the way movies are made, because when it's streaming, you can stream it and watch it once. and then you don't ever have to revisit it. But with a DVD, when you buy a DVD, the implication is that that kind of goes into your little library, and then when it's family movie night, you flip through all the DVDs that you own, and you watch something you've already watched and enjoyed. And so rewatchability is no longer really a factor for, I don't know, like when making movies. I don't know. It's a good little rant he goes on.
Well, the movies don't have to be like that good. It's like the whole thing. Like as long as they get watched once, like they're making like all the money they can, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I think also that kind of comes into now how movie marketing is with like, I think sometimes a movie will try to like manufacture some like controversy or some like interesting buzz talk point like several months before it actually releases, so everyone wants to see this movie because everyone's been talking about it. And then the movie doesn't have to be good. It just needs to get you in the door to see it or stream it or whatever. And then it doesn't have to be a good movie or anything, because it's like, oh, everyone's talking about this movie is going to have this thing that we can all either agree or disagree about. And I feel like with the marketing, it's leaning way more into that than to be like, oh, this is how, this is a story, and these are, the actors who, I don't know, like press tours and stuff now to me are all more about like drama and controversy especially
than
like
they are about the actual movie.
Like Don't Worry, Darling, which comes out, came out yesterday? Yeah.
It's out,
I'm very excited to see it. I've heard terrible things about Harry Styles' performance. I'm so stoked.
Yep, I also,
and I love that man.
I'm complaining about this, but I'm buying into it because I want to go see that movie because of all the controversy around it, and it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. I'm going to go see it for sure. Yeah. But have you seen any, not to shift gears away from Shrek, but have you seen any new movies, anything in the theaters lately?
Not in the theaters. We talked about this last week after Kill Bill, Do Revenge. I just watched that the other day, and I fucking adored it. The fact that Maya Hawke is Ethan and Uma's daughter pops out, which like everyone knows, you know what I mean? But like actually seeing her in a big movie is like really nice. I thought it was great. It was very like Clueless, 10 Things I Hate About You, Heathers kind of thing. Fantastic, phenomenal. Like
I'll have to watch it.
I loved it.
Yeah, your glowing review. I know everybody, there's like a picture of her driving a car and everyone's putting it next to the picture of Uma Thurman. But then somebody tweeted like, that man's genes didn't stand a chance. But then somebody put a picture of both of her parents next to her and they're like, no, she looks like both of them. Like, what are you talking about? And then everyone's like, yeah, it's almost like they had a baby. Like what? Why are we discussing like the genetic breakdown of Maya Hawke? Like, yeah, she looks like both her parents. Somebody made the point that she looks so much like both of them because they kind of look like each other. That they kind of give, like, if you really look at, like, their bone structure and stuff, they could give, like, siblings or dating energy.
Interesting.
And so that's why their kid looks so, like, strikingly like both of them, because they kind of look similar. Yeah. Which I thought was interesting.
Well, have you seen anything?
But yeah, I'll have to give it a watch.
Most definitely. It's super funny. Have you seen anything recently? I know before we started this podcast, you were talking about how you saw Avatar remastered in the theater.
It was not so much remastered as much. I do think that they kind of probably brushed up on some of the 3D like rendering, because we saw it in 3D, which I think is the only way you can go see it. We saw it in 3D, which was definitely, but I hadn't seen, so I went to the theatrical re-release of James Cameron's Avatar, because the second one, which they're already in post-production for number 5, which is fucking crazy. I think 5 is going to come out in 2028. So between now and 2028, there will be 4 new Avatar movies released that have already been filmed.
I just don't give a shit at all about the new one. When does it come out?
Well, that's why, clearly, no, it comes out this December. So they clearly did the theatrical re-release to try to get people to, like, get hyped up about it.
I still don't care.
But all my brother-in-laws were, like, jazzed about it, so I was like, yeah, I'll go see it. And it was, I hadn't watched it since 2009. Like, I think I saw it in theaters in 3D in 2009. Then I did not think about it again until yesterday.
It's not a rewatchable movie. It's a movie that you have to see.
It's very long.
It's very long. You have to see it in the theater.
You have to see it in the theaters. Yeah, which, yeah, I guess if we're talking about rewatchability, Avatar does not really have that for me. It did make me, I'll probably go see the second one, because the graphics, it actually did make me think about, so the difference between Shrek 1 and Shrek 2, is really different as far as like visual quality. I think if you watch immediately Shrek 1 and then Shrek 2, you'll be like, wow, like they clearly stepped up their, because it was really one of the first movies that tried to do that sort of 3D, almost Pixar-like animation rather than like just like flat, cartoon. And I think Shrek 2 like looks strikingly better than Shrek 1.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And it was only made 2 years later, so that's like
that
crazy.
Budget definitely.
And I was thinking about
too, so
for sure, like technology advancing very quickly plus a budget increase definitely like played a huge part. But it was crazy to me to think about that Shrek 2 came out in 2004, and that Avatar came out in 2009, so only 5 years later, and I think it holds up as far as like looking at it, you can tell it was made maybe not a decade ago, but like not in present time. But the visual effects and the CG that they did on that movie are just fucking crazy considering it came out in 2009. And I was like, damn, like jumping from like Shrek 1 to Shrek 2 to Avatar is like the trajectory of like, computer graphics quality just like insanely jumping.
I think,
but more importantly,
I think my favorite graphics thing from that movie is the fact that Sigourney Weaver, it's Sigourney Weaver, right? In that movie, she absolutely refused to have like a real cigarette or even like a fake cigarette. So every time she's smoking in that movie, that's a CGI cigarette. She just had it in between her fingers. She just had like her fingers like this and would like pretend to smoke.
Oh my god. Which then why then just write out that the character doesn't smoke them? Like who cares? But it was fine. I felt pretty, neutral about it. I'll probably go see the second one just to like be a part of cultural hype. But more importantly, last week we both recommended for Kill Bill. You said watch Do Revenge, which you hadn't seen, and now I've seen. I recommended you see
How
Pearl,
was it?
which I hadn't seen, and now I've seen. I fully have a Halloween costume in the works for Pearl because of how fucking much I loved it. If you haven't seen X, you can still see Pearl without having seen X, but I do recommend like seeing both just because I loved it. I really loved it. It was like the perfect balance of like still scary and it's a horror movie, but it was fucking funny.
Okay.
And it was campy and it was everything. And Mia Goth, I know she's not going to get an Oscar nom because they hate horror as a genre in the Academy, but she deserves at least a nomination because she served. She served. She strutted that runway, mama, so that Peppa could run.
Doesn't she have like a 6-minute monologue in it or something like that?
Yes, with no camera cuts. So it's like a straight onto her face monologue that with no camera cuts and no served. I loved it.
Yeah, no, that woman she's having her moment, and I am fully here for it. I adore Mia Goth. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I really want to see it, but like honestly, like it looks like so unsettling that I'm like, ugh. Which is like obviously the point. It's a horror movie. You know what I mean?
But it's like in the way that it's unsettling and will make you like kind of have that secondhand, like I'm crawling out of my skin feeling. It's also so funny. Like they do everything in a way that you're like cringing, but you're also like cracking up at the same time. Just like the filmmaking choices are like very silly, but like beautiful, but like, I don't know, still like silly and goofy.
I'll have to see it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Did you watch X beforehand? Did you like prep yourself?
Yes.
Okay. How was that? Because I haven't seen
not
that.
on purpose. Honestly, I didn't even realize that the sequel was coming out so soon, because this was maybe about a month ago, and Henry was just like, oh yeah, like there's this Sasha movie that Kid Cudi's in, like let's watch it. And I was just like, okay, like I didn't really know much about it, and then I was like, oh, I guess it's an A24 movie, and then we watched it and we really liked it, and then I was like, oh shit, the sequel comes out in like 3 weeks.
Nice.
Or like prequel, I guess. So we ran it and we saw it. And we both really enjoyed it. I think we're doing a couple's Pearl related Halloween costume. So stay tuned.
Is he going to be the scarecrow?
No, he's going to be the alligator that she feeds all the body parts to. Which I also thought that owning an alligator onesie would just come in handy for the sake of the pod. Just throw that on.
That's so good. We're going to have to start doing. I'll get a frog jumpsuit and we'll just do it in
every week,
which if you're listening to this, we also have our podcast up on YouTube now. We're recording. You can say hi to us. We're right here. You can see us. I've got a big French flag behind me. Dara took down all of her father's hats from the wall.
I know. I'm in my parents' house, so I'm in between like living situations, and so right now I'm at my parents' house, and my dad, on all these hooks that you can see around me, my dad had like baseball caps, and I was like, why is that embarrassing to me? So I took them down.
It's not our brand.
It wouldn't have made a difference really. Now they're just like these weird hooks behind me. But yeah, if you want to come see what we look like, I wore this shirt specifically because I felt like it was kind of giving Prince Charming, like billowy white silk, like Prince Charming shirt. And you're wearing some of our old handmade swamp merch back when I used to hand print all of our t-shirts. If you want to peep our new shirts, we go through a distributor and are not hand stamped, so they're a little bit better quality, but they're less rustic.
I love this. I wear this shirt at least once a week.
Back at it again with another chocolate or vanilla interim podcast segment hosted by my lovely mother, Jen. She's here. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm fine.
Outstanding.
We're podcasting again in the morning, which is now, this is our new thing.
Yeah, I feel like FDR or something, like fireside chat vibes. Like, it's really very presidential to wake up at 9:30 in the morning and set up your audio equipment.
I also feel like I'm so close to you. I just want to like give you like.
Jen and I are in the same room again today, which will probably become a more increasing in frequency because I'm moving back to my ancestral homeland. So hopefully we'll be able to all get together more often and, have little pod play dates, sleepovers.
I was gonna say, hoping that I can be there soon.
Definitely.
But the reason Jen is here is to host her segment, Chocolate or Vanilla. It's a game where she just says two things. We all say which one we like better. And you've been doing sequel themes in relation to the Chocolate or Vanilla you originally did. So remind me, what was the theme for Shrek?
Things that are green.
Okay. And are we continuing? We're continuing just with green?
This will be another episode of Things That Are Green.
Amazing.
Love it.
All right. So chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Chocolate. Fiona or Gamora?
I'm going to go with Fiona, just because Shrek is just objectively a better piece of media than Guardians of the Galaxy, and that alone, I think I have to give it to her.
Yeah, if anyone's been listening to this podcast for long enough, I think they know where I stand on Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm going to give it to Fiona.
Yeah, we'll go Fiona for the sweep then. I knew you guys were not going to pick Gamora over Fiona.
Absolutely not.
Next one. Kiwi or grapes?
I am not really a fruit person, which is kind of like controversial because I feel like some people like go apeshit for how much they love fruit. But the texture of a grape really skeeves me out, and I think kiwi, I can deal with it if it's like in a smoothie or something, or like, I don't know. In the right context, I think I can get down with a kiwi. Grapes just freak me the fuck out. I hate the skin. Ugh! So, kiwi. Also, there's that Harry Styles song, Kiwi. So, and also people from New Zealand. So we'll just go with that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm not that much of a fruit person. I don't love berries, which I feel like people are always like, what? It's like, it's just not for me, okay? So I'm gonna have to join you on a kiwi, because, I'm similar. A grape is not my thing.
I'll pick kiwi also, but I think it's funny that you say the texture of grapes skeeves you out, and kiwi has, like, literally, like, a hairy...
Yeah, but you don't eat that part.
That is true.
Well, you can.
You peel it.
Yeah.
You can eat the kiwi
Henry
skin?
eats the skin. Henry eats the skin. Henry puts a whole kiwi in his mouth.
He eats it like an apple?
Yes.
No. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Good for him.
Next one is Hulk versus She-Hulk.
I haven't seen any of the new She-Hulk, and all I've seen was that, like, marketing stunt they did with Megan Thee Stallion, so I have really no thoughts on it, but I guess I'll pick Hulk, because I'm more familiar with his work.
Yeah, I'll go for Hulk, because, I guess the She-Hulk show just looks mad corny to me.
I'm going with She-Hulk. I would take girl power over original Avengers.
Girl boss over not girl boss.
Jen's, like, subtly calling us misogynists.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, you didn't choose She-Hulk? Says a lot about you.
Wow, thought we were all feminists here. Guess I was wrong.
Next one. Wicked Witch of the West or The Grinch?
Ah, the Grinch. The Grinch serves. The Wicked Witch wishes that she could serve the way the Grinch served. The Wicked Witch is also trying so hard to be like,
Wicked.
creepy and spooky and wicked. No, the Grinch just emanates from his very being. No, he doesn't even have to try.
Yeah, no, that is him to his core. I'm also gonna go for the Grinch.
Yeah, Grinch for the sweep. Next one, a pine tree or a palm tree?
I'm gonna go with pine tree because we're from the Northeast and we have a lot of trees here, and I'm not very well traveled, but I've been to a couple other like parts of America, and it's wild to me that y'all don't have like an abundance of trees. Like in California, you can just drive and you can just see for miles and miles in every direction because all of the trees there are like man-made, like planted, you know, they don't just have forests. It's crazy to me. And I feel that way about like Florida, like palm trees, like they all feel like deliberately placed. Like where are they just naturally springing up? I don't know. So I'll go for pine trees because I really like here. It makes me feel very safe and at home when I'm surrounded by greenery.
Yeah, no, it's like having a hug in your environment. You know what I mean? I don't know. I love a good pine tree. Also, it smells nice. I don't think palm trees really smell at all. I mean, I could be wrong. Someone from Florida or anywhere tropical, tell me I'm wrong, but I'm a pine tree girl.
Yeah, I would say pine tree too. First, because, well, it's a Christmas tree. And you know how you said, like, when you're in California, you can see miles away. Yeah, we can't see our next door neighbors.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Next one is pesto or pistachio?
Why do I feel like this is an exact callback to a question you asked?
I was afraid of doing doubles.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, but these are two great green things, and I will pick pesto. You can actually make pesto with pistachios instead of pine nuts. You can put almost any kind of nut in your pesto, and you can do pistachio pesto. I don't know if I've ever had it, but I've seen people make it like on cooking shows and stuff. But I will pick pesto. I love a pesto.
Yeah, definitely pesto for me.
Yeah, I would say pesto too, but I guess if I could choose pistachio pesto, that sounds amazing. But I will take pesto. Next one is green eyeshadow or green lipstick?
I did used to rock like a mint green lipstick back in high school, which like looking back was a little aggressive of me, but like, why not? When you're 14, nobody's gonna call you out for being a little bit weird. But today, I don't think in my day-to-day life I would ever rock a mint green lipstick per se, but I do wear green eyeliner and eyeshadow, fairly regularly, especially like a dark forest green. Looks really nice. I like doing my eyeliner like in colors that are not black, but like almost black, like a dark brown or dark red or something. But so a dark green eyeliner to like match a nice outfit, definitely going for that. So I'll go for the eyeshadow.
That's what's up. I'll go for the eyeshadow as well. I don't think I have ever worn green lipstick. I don't think I ever will. It's just not me.
I actually believe you did on one occasion, Emily, when I brought it to a show choir competition and we all wore those alien glasses. We were in the band for show choir and our theme that year was like alien extraterrestrial, and so the band all got these really funny glasses, and I remember we would just always say Gleep Glorp, which we thought was hilarious at the time, and I gave everyone genderless, everyone was required to wear the mint green lipstick.
Pre-COVID, when you're sharing lipstick with your friends.
It's funny because like half of them were like reed players and like actually had instruments to play with, and you were like, no, you're wearing lipstick for this. Like, I don't care if it's gonna mess up like your mouthpiece. We're doing this. Yeah, that is true. You got me there. That was pretty iconic. We did win like best costume one year. They like give out like extra like little curricular awards at the end of the show choir competitions, and they gave it to our band.
Nice.
And it was definitely because we were wearing green lipstick. I'm sorry.
No, you got us.
The band that nobody sees.
Yeah.
I'll go with eyeshadow also. In the 80s, we definitely rocked pastel eyeshadow every day. Now I don't wear eyeshadow or lipstick, like ever. Next one is some song lyrics. And one of my pet peeves is when people recite song lyrics, but I'm going to do it because I'm not going to sing. So...
Okay, why is that a pet peeve?
I don't know. I listen to this trivia thing where they will say song lyrics, and it gets me so aggravated that I know the song, but when you speak a lyric, it's so hard to figure it out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess. But so you're gonna be
I'm gonna do my pet peeve.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Okay.
Right.
You're not gonna do I see you dream. You're not gonna do an
I want
impression
you to
of
do it.
Louis Armstrong? No? Okay.
Next one. And then verses. Henry wrote me a poem all about my green sleeves. Changed a couple words, put it down a sick beat.
That's from the
From
musical
Six.
Six that Jen and I love.
So
Is that
I'm sorry,
those two? Sorry, I
Those
thought
two.
that. I'll go for the original. I see trees of green because I feel like that's a pretty. That's like a musical standard, right?
That's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
Uplifting.
Is it bad that instead of thinking of Louis Armstrong first, Kermit the Frog popped into my head singing that?
No, yeah, that's even better.
The cover.
Yeah, for that
Kermit
reason,
covered
I'll choose the first song. I can't even think of the name of it, just because that's also another
Wonderful
green
World,
thing. Yeah, What a Wonderful World. Yeah, just because.
All right, I'll choose a song from Six but I love both these songs for sure. Next one is 2 drinks, a Midori sour or a margarita.
So I don't really care for tequila, but I will be picking the margarita in this situation because Midori skeeves me the fuck out.
Really?
No, artificial melon flavor. Just I don't know. I can't do it. So I'm gonna pick the margarita because sometimes like a flavored margarita, like a blood orange margarita, can be kind of nice.
I love Midori. I'm a big Midori girl, and I do love tequila though. So I'll go for the margarita just because it's classic. But I do love a Midori sour.
Yeah, I love a margarita, but I'm gonna go Midori sour to shout out to Gavin,
Yeah.
who loves Midori. We love Gavin.
Yes.
One time I had a margarita martini. So, yeah, it was really good.
Ooh.
And the swizzle stick was like rock candy.
Was it just a margarita that they served to you in a martini glass?
I actually don't know, but it was really good. It was a small margarita.
For double the price.
Yeah, exactly. Next one is the Geico Gecko or Lyle Lyle Crocodile.
So, I feel like this is in reference to the new movie that they're making starring Shawn Mendes, who just doesn't do it for me in any capacity.
Does he play Lyle Lyle?
He's the voice of Lyle Lyle Crocodile.
Does Lyle Lyle sing then?
He does. He's an alligator who sings. So
I think that's wonderful.
they've changed the premise of the children's book. They took a children's book about a crocodile, and then they said, well, instead of doing the plot, we'll do Shawn Mendes. This crocodile can just be Shawn Mendes, and he'll sing, and that'll be good, right? So, fuck that. I guess I'll pick the Geico Gecko, which is, like, okay, sure.
I prefer, like, original capitalism to, like, capitalism revamped and turned on its head. Also, I hate Shawn Mendes. So I will pick the Geico Gecko.
Do we hate him? Is he a bad guy?
No, not for any reason. He just rubs me the wrong way, the same way that like Ed Sheeran rubs me the wrong way. I think he's like
his music is not good.
I think he's really cringe.
All right, yeah, I'll take Geico Gecko too then.
Do you know? Fun fact that Geico spends the most ad spend of any brand.
Huh.
They
That
buy
makes sense.
the most advertising space of any brand ever, and that's like including like Nike and Apple. And
Wow.
Globally, Geico biggest ad spend.
Volume wise or price wise?
Price.
Oh wow.
Well, price and volume. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like their ads aren't super high tech,
But they're fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Last one. A Caesar salad or a wedge salad?
You're doing this to make me angry because fuck a wedge salad.
say that.
Fuck a wedge salad. I'm sorry, but especially if you're at a restaurant and you order a wedge salad, you can make that fucking shit at your house, cut a head of lettuce in half, and put blue cheese dressing on it, you sick fuck.
Yeah.
Caesar salad. Fuck a wedge salad.
I love a good Caesar salad, especially if it's like really like I don't want to say homemade, but like you know what I mean. If it's got like like homemade like croutons kind of thing. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Yeah, I'm a big Caesar salad girl. I don't have the same hate in my heart for a wedge salad. I just really like a Caesar salad.
I'll pick a Caesar salad so I don't get assaulted.
You just hear Jen's cries
One
in the
time
background as
I
Dara's
ordered a-
beating her up.
One time I ordered a wedge salad at like a family dinner, and Dara like came at me.
I was embarrassed to be seen with you. I'm pretty sure I was also like 12. Like I was like, fuck you!
How
Fuck
dare
you,
you
wedge
in
salad.
my presence?
Out of all the things on the menu, like
Just looked really good. So
She still feels the need to defend it.
as a follow-up, what's your protein of choice on a salad? Like if you like say well, not a Caesar because Caesar obviously goes with chicken, but like do you guys like chicken, steak, salmon, or shrimp on your salads?
I think that a really fire salad doesn't even really need like meat in
agree.
it to be
Yeah.
I totally
good.
agree.
Like if you just construct, like to me, all of the best salads in my mind are protein free.
Yeah.
Just because and then once you, especially like for a Caesar salad, once you start adding chicken, I'm like, well, now I just want it in a wrap or something.
Yeah.
You know, once you start getting it that heavy, I'm like, let's just transform this into something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess chicken because it's the like when there's
It's
hot
versatile.
steak on my salad.
I don't like
I don't
it.
want my greens to get like that warm.
Yeah.
That kind of skeeves me.
I was
out,
just
so,
gonna say that. Yeah. No. So I guess like that's one thing I feel like shrimp is good for because like I feel like shrimp like cools off really quick and it's not gonna make my salad like damp. You know what I mean? Or like wilty, I guess. But I'll go for chicken because it does feel the most versatile and I can throw it on like any sort of salad.
Yeah, same.
What about you?
I guess I would go with chicken. I've been trying to eat more salmon though because it's so good for you, but I just can't pull the trigger when I'm out if I order a salad. I'll go with no protein before I'll take salmon on top. Especially because they charge you like 20 extra bucks.
Well, now you have me thinking about Caesar salad.
Yeah. Well, that was it for green number 2
Stunning.
version of chocolate or vanilla.
Amazing.
It was great, Jen.
And
Thank you.
Reduce, reuse, recycle, save the planet. We're going green on the pod. 100% sustainable. Actually, I don't know if I can say that with confidence. We don't do anything in either direction.
No.
I don't know if like there are emissions happening from what we're doing here. I don't think so, but
Maybe
I'd
from
like
our
to think
merch.
we're a green. Well, I'd like to think not. Maybe we should do some investigation on that front. But as always, Jen, thank you so much. This was a pleasure having you. And there's like a 50-50 shot that I'll get around to posting these on Instagram. And you guys can go and vote for your favorites. So keep your eyes peeled for that, maybe. And thank you, and we love you.
Thank you. I love you guys so much.
Bye,
Have
Jen.
an awesome day.
Bye.
Bye.
But I guess let's get back to Shrek. Let's get back
detour.
to the topic. Let's get back to the topic of the film. So we have some new characters, and we get some old characters back in this movie. Is there any specific character, new or old, in this movie? Because it's a very like character heavy film because we've got so fucking much going on. Is there any like character that just like does it for you? Because there certainly are
The
a
ugly
few for me.
stepsister who is like the bartender at the pub.
Yes.
I love her. I love
Icon.
her. I want her and the big bad. Is he like the big bad wolf or is it just the wolf? I want
Yeah.
those two to get together.
The big bad
I want them
wolf.
together. It seems like just like a really like gender neutral relationship. You know what I mean? If that makes sense, you know.
Right? Was it like T for
Yeah,
T?
T for T.
On Tinder. I do think that would constitute as bestiality, though, Emily. So I don't really know if we should condone that, but
I don't feel any type of way about this in this universe, considering that Donkey and Dragon have some fucked up little
That's
donkey
true.
dragon babies.
that's
I'm really not worried.
a
Fiona would have
nightmare.
fucked Shrek, like, if she was a human and he was an ogre. You know what I mean?
I guess, yeah. Who's to say? And I guess the dad is a frog, but has been disguising
frog.
himself as a guy.
Yeah.
Which
Come on.
it seems like the wife didn't know. And I'm like, you didn't know he was a frog this
She
whole
was so
time?
fine with it.
Yeah.
She was so fine.
Do you know that
she,
that's-
like, actually really liked it?
That's Julie Andrews.
Julie Andrews, yes. This is we started off this month with Queen Julie Andrews, and now we end it with Queen Julie Andrews.
Yeah, so true. But her part is so minor to me. I'm like, they really did not utilize her. Like, the mom is such, like, a background character.
I know.
She should have had a musical number.
Slay.
But
I would have slayed. One thing that I do love is that when the king goes back to a frog, he has a little goatee still. Which
I think watching it back, you're like, that man does have frog-like features. Like, as a human.
Yeah.
Like, there's something
that is a frog.
That's a froggy man. But yeah, he's got his little goatee that he keeps.
It's a froggy man.
It's a froggy looking man.
It's a froggy kind of guy.
But I
love those. So you go.
No, as far as, like, queens who slay, though, like, the fairy godmother really comes in and takes the cake.
Obviously.
As far as...
I love an evil woman. I love an evil woman.
She's also, like, a...
That's a Scorpio.
Yeah. It's like if, like, Meryl Streep was... Like, it's giving, like, very, like, Meryl, but, like, unhinged.
Stop.
And I love that she, like, has glitter in her hair all the time, and she's, like, fabulous and put together, but also is stirring the pot. Something that I noticed this time around that I, like, didn't really care for, but it's, like, really subtle, is that they have a bunch of references about, like, her, like, having a difficult relationship with food. Like, there's a couple scenes where she's like, you're making me break my diet, and then she starts, like, binge eating, and it happens a few times, and she's like, when she's stressed, she's like, I need something covered in chocolate, no, or whatever, and I'm like, what? Yeah. I'm like, what is this, like, weird, like, undertone of, like, her, like, binge eating? Yeah, but I just picked up on that.
It was like 2004, and, like, I feel like diet culture around that time was, like, really, like, fucked and bad, which, I mean, like, it still is, but, like, you know what I mean? It was very much, like, sort of around the height of, like, Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig and all that shit, so it felt, like, very, like, culturally relevant, I think, to be like, this woman has an eating disorder, even without saying this woman has an eating disorder.
Because I think you could still, because I think the scene where they go through the drive-thru is really fucking funny, because...
Oh, it's hysterical.
It's great. I'm like, you still could have had that without having those subtle lines of her being like, I don't know, like the implication of like...
My diet's ruined.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like that. But she, you know, for that writing flaw, she makes up for it tenfold by just serving and swerving. I love that.
I love her factory. The factory scene really does it for me. The little guys in their little hazmat suits, but, like, something about, like, we talk a lot about, like, things in movies that, like, texturally or visually, you're like, I want to eat that, or stuff like that. I want to drink every potion in her factory.
Because they all look...
I don't care what it is. It's glittery, Jesus, and beautiful, and just so luminescent. I'm like, yes.
They all look, too, like... a little bit, like, viscous, like, thicker than water, right? Like, when she's stirring them, they all look kind of thick. Like, like almost like gelatin. Like, just subtly. Like, I don't know. I wanna drink that. I love all the little guys look like the Among Us guys. Yeah. Which is, like, so ahead of its time.
Yeah, really. Icon.
But my favorite is that when they're breaking into the factory, they, like, try to get past the front desk guy, and he's like, fuck you, and they're like, no, we're from the union, we're here to, like, inspect the safety measures, we're from the union, and he's just like, oh, okay, yeah,
got
and
it.
I love,
yeah.
I recently got a job, I'm a union gal now, because I work for the government, so I'm in a union, and so
I don't think you should say that on this podcast.
Oh, should I? Anyways, forget I said anything about. I'm in the magical union. What is it? Fairy tale workers' rights or whatever. What did he say? He said like evil business, evil like happenings, workers' rights or something. That's me.
That's you. Yeah. No. No, that's one that I really liked. This time around, I'm like, oh. Gotcha. That's funny.
I felt like I, as a kid, or at least when I was going into it, like not having seen this movie in a while.
I understood it, but I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, you know what I mean?
That's one of those things that's like a joke for the adults that the adults will genuinely think is funny, but the kids still like can enjoy it and not like be like, oh, that was something not for me, you know? But I always thought that the I Need a Hero music number was going to happen in the factory. But it's a different musical number with hijinks. But for some reason, like, when I was watching, I was like, oh, it's about to happen. Like, it's about to happen. And I was like, oh. And then I was like, when is this going to happen? And it's much farther down the line than what I had been anticipating.
Can I talk about one character that I really didn't care for that much?
Is it going to be Puss in Boots?
Yeah. As a kid, it hit. He's very much a character for the children, I think. And there's like a couple of gags that you're like, okay, yeah, funny, whatever. But it didn't smack for me like it used to. Because fully for the children. And again, another one fully for the children was Mongo. Is that what his name was? Giant gingerbread man.
I was gonna say that as far as like new characters that to me slap is I'm like, cut Puss in Boots. I don't really care. Give me more Mongo. I loved Mongo. It's so silly.
I love him. I love him so much. His death scene was devastating as a child.
Yes.
Absolutely devastating.
What if he says like to little Gingy as he's dying, he says like, be good or something.
Yeah.
Just, like really. And then not to hard reference back, but as you said, textural things in movies that itch my brain. Specifically, from the first time I ever saw this as a kid, seared into my brain.
Is it the
chemistry? Foam? No, his gumdrop button when it gets lit on fire and then falls off and it's like a sugary flaming gumdrop, and then he picks it up and throws it back, and then it kind of melts and explodes on impact. I have never wanted to just sink my teeth into something that's on like blue and flaming and crusty with sugar. Oh, I love the way that they animated that. It just, it makes me tingle. So good.
Oh my god.
I also love, if we're talking about Mongo, his scene where he's, stomping down, what is it, Far, Far Away? Is that the name of the city that they're in?
Yeah.
He's stomping down it, and he picks up the big Starbucks cup that's on top of the building. Well, it's called, like, something else, so it's, like, obviously a Starbucks reference. And all the people in the Starbucks are screaming, and they run out of one Starbucks and into another Starbucks that's directly across the street.
I didn't realize that.
So funny. It's like that's what every joke just hits, because they took the opportunity to turn every visual thing into a funny gag, and having all the people run from one Starbucks to another that's directly across the street is just like such a funny little commentary that just, I love it.
Ugh, genius. Actually genius. One thing that I didn't think was going to be as funny this watch around as it was as a kid was there's this scene where all of the fairy tale creatures from the swamp come to like rescue like Shrek and Donkey and everything like that. So they've been like locked away in a tower kind of thing. And they're like doing this, it's like Mission Impossible styles kind of shit, right? And Pinocchio comes down like with his little like puppet arms on like strings and everything like that. And they go and he's like, oh, quick, tell a lie. And Donkey's sitting there and he's like, say you're wearing women's underwear. And he does, and his nose doesn't grow. And they're like, wait, are you? What's up? And he's like, started being like, no. Obviously his nose starts growing and everything like that. But just the one line, I forget who it is, if it's one of the pigs or whatever it is, but like they just like pull down his fucking pants and they're like, he's wearing a thong.
It's a thong. And he goes, no, they're briefs. And his nose continues to grow. So funny. This movie does, like, get me into the sort of, like, blue humor. Like, there are fart jokes in this movie that I laugh at, and typically I'm like,
Genius.
I'm too, like, sophisticated, or, like, I usually just don't, like, I don't know, like poop jokes and fart jokes, and, like, I don't know, things that are, like, maybe, like, outwardly, like, inappropriate, that I'm like, you can be clever and funny, you don't have to be, like, outwardly, like, but, like, this movie, for some reason, fucking gets me. Like, he's in women's underwear.
It's so balanced.
But
it's so well balanced. Like you said, like the Starbucks reference is so funny, but like again, I would have never picked that up. It's so like like you really can like pay attention to this movie and like see a lot of like the work that went into it. And then also like it's just on the other hand, you have like this little like thong joke
And it's
so
hilarious.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I also think the
like,
voice
this movie
actor...
is very well-rounded.
I also do appreciate that a lot of, while they do have some, like, big blockbuster celebrities playing some of the bigger roles, like, you know, Antonio Banderas as Puss in Boots and Cameron Diaz as Fiona, whatever, they do get a lot of, like, voice actor or more, like, theatrical people to be, like Prince Charming and the Fairy Godmother. And the voice actor for Pinocchio, the way he talks, like, I love. It's so funny. Like, I think that we missed that a lot by casting Shawn Mendes in Lyle Lyle Crocodile. Like, no, get a voice actor or, like, somebody in theater who knows how to, like, inflection and project. And that, I think, especially with animated movies, like, oh, we're only gonna cast, like, A-name celebrities to do this for, like, marketing purposes and to generate hype is really just takes so much out of the experience because...
A craft.
And you can still cast somebody, like, semi-famous. They just don't have to be an A-list celebrity who's known for something other than, you know, I don't know. Because the people who are voicing in these roles are still famous people. Like, they're still actors. That's just something to me that I'm always like, you can tell. Like, you can tell when the voice is falling flat because that's not what they do, you know? Shawn Mendes isn't a voice actor. He's a pop singer.
Yeah, like, voice acting is a craft in itself, and it is being kind of left in the dust, unfortunately, which is just fucking awful. What are you gonna do? I'm not in Hollywood. I can't tell people what to do. Market your movie however you want to, even if it's gonna be shit garbage. But do we want to get into the nitty-gritty? The podcast segments?
Yes. I would love nothing more. So to start off, fuck, marry, kill. Like, who would we say are our three primary characters who are humans? Because we really cannot include Donkey or Puss in Boots in this, in my opinion.
No.
But, I mean, let's just open up the floodgates to the whole movie, I think. Because, like, let's not, you know, Doctors Without Borders. We have not yet discussed how sexy human Shrek is. They had no right making that man so fine. Oh, and they address it too. They address it too. But so I think
He's fine.
I'm gonna fuck human Shrek. Like, no question.
Obviously.
No question. I'm gonna fuck human Shrek. I'm gonna marry the fairy godmother, because I think together,
obviously,
drama, conflama, outfit changes, musical numbers, potions. I think it would just be a really great pair. And then I'm gonna kill, I guess I'll kill Prince Charming. Annoying.
Fair. I'm gonna fuck the queen.
Okay.
Because that's Julie Andrews. And also she's giving, like, MILF. Super huge MILF energy in this movie. And I love that. Obviously, I'm gonna marry the fairy godmother. Like I said, I love an evil woman. I'm here for it. I want her to make me fun little potions. We can get into some, like, freaky shit. Yeah, and I'm gonna kill her. I agree with you. I'm gonna kill her son because I'm like, we don't need that drama in our life. Yeah, no. And I know she doesn't want it.
Maybe she does, or she'll improve without him around.
Exactly.
She realized
we can step up our evil game together. You know what I mean?
Without him in the picture,
nothing's holding us back. Yeah, exactly. And what are you gonna eat and drink with this movie?
So I think that there's a lot of really great onion and garlic imagery happening in the carriage that they ride in the beginning. It's like either like kind of an onion bulb, and obviously like we got the onions have layers reference from the first movie. Of course. It's very prevalent, and also that like ogres are stinky and smelly and whatever. But also there are other scenes in the movie, like when they're in the back of the bar, there's like all of these like bulbs of garlic like hanging down. I don't know, we just get a lot of that imagery. So I think you make your own onion dip. Store-bought is fine. Like, you can get the store-bought onion dip and chips, whatever. Like, it'll probably scratch the itch. But I love a homemade onion dip. You caramelize the onions. You maybe roast some garlic. Just get it really, get those spices in there. A homemade onion dip, I think, would really suit with this movie. And then, as far as what to drink, it's super simple, like really visually referential, but a gingerbread martini or like a gingerbread themed drink. I know seasonally a lot of, rum, like spiced rum, will put out for like Christmas, like gingerbread flavor. I know Captain Morgan does. And in the past I've gotten it, it's a little too sweet for me, but I think maybe if you mix it right, it might, you could tone it down with some other things. Again, I don't really understand just calling something a martini because you put it in a martini glass, but some sort of like gingerbread spiced rum drink, and then you could rim it with, I don't really love gumdrops personally. I find that like licoricey flavor to be off-putting, but some sort of fun colored sugar rim, right, to do like a mango gingerbread drink, I think could be really cute.
I like that a lot. So... What is it? I found a recipe because I'm going for characters more so with my food and drinks. Obviously, there's Fairy Godmother. She is like one of, if not like the most prevalent character in my opinion. You drink a green fairy cocktail. It's like mostly absinthe, obviously, lemon juice, like simple sugar, bitters, an egg white if you're fancy, whatever. Put a little edible glitter in it.
I was just gonna say, you gotta get some edible glitter, because the glitter in her hair is so like texturally pleasing to me. And then when she dissipates into bubbles, a little edible glitter on any cocktail, I think you can then just say that it's a Fairy Godmother drink.
There you go. And I couldn't think of something, but you gave me the good idea for pigs in a blanket. Because you do have the 3 little pigs in this movie, and they literally do go, they say, pigs in a blanket, and they like launch themselves at the Fairy Godmother. But I think you make it a little fancy, alright? You make your own pigs in a blanket, you get the puff pastry, you get the tiny little hot dogs, you add some apple, some Gouda, maybe I think a little prosciutto inside of it, and listen, I'll tell you what's hot and what's not from Trader Joe's, and what's hot is the garlic mustard aioli. Throw a little bit of that on there. Bam. Perfect. It's a lovely little hors d'oeuvre for your viewing party.
Amazing.
Which I think, and I think that after you watch this movie, I think that you either watch the new Twink Pinocchio movie, which I haven't seen, but it feels culturally relevant to this, or you watch A Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff, because I feel like you need to jump from one fairy tale kind of movie, one skewed fairy tale to another.
I like that.
What about you?
I like that.
When are we watching at your get together?
So I'm sticking sort of with sequels, and specifically this movie was the highest grossing movie in 2004 and also remained the highest grossing animated film until Toy Story 3, which was many years later. Yeah. So this was the highest grossing movie animated or any movie in 2004, but I was curious what else. And number 2, also a sequel, Spider-Man 2. So the second Sam Raimi Spider-Man. So I think you also do incredibly high grossing amazing sequels from 2004, because I think I might like Spider-Man 2 more than Spider-Man 1 as far as the Sam Raimi trilogy. Cuz
you got Doc Ock.
Thick Daddy Doc Ock, played by actor Alfred Molina, just really gets me going. So I think you do Spider-Man 2, and that could be kind of like a shift to a different vibe, but still very like that era of film.
I adore that. That's really good.
And then out of 10, I'm gonna give this movie a 10. This is a 10.
Yeah,
this is the perfect film. It's the perfect film.
Mm-hmm.
I have
no notes.
Yeah, no notes. It's 92 minutes too. It's perfect.
Ugh,
That's what when watching James Cameron's Avatar, I did think to myself, there is no need for this movie to be this long. I understand why they probably couldn't cut anything, because every single shot cost them $1 million. So like they're like, we actually can't cut anything because it would just be like financially unwise. But there was no need for that movie to be 3.5 hours fucking long. And
not at all.
I know that the new ones are going to be fucking long too. And I'm not entirely here for it, but like,
what are you gonna
I'm
do?
not against it per se either. But anyways, thank you for joining us for the end of Sequel September. And as we are rolling into October, I cannot implore you enough to send us your Halloween costumes, either what you're doing this year, if you're dressing up, or what you, even if you're just like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do. I love to hear about it. Or like good Halloween costume past. We recently had somebody send us that they were the bear and the girl from Midsummer, Danny and the bear, and they sent us that, and it was
So
just like
good.
so good. And they said that they're gonna do Kyle and Lady Bird this year, and I don't know, we're just chatting up about Halloween costumes. So please,
I love that.
please send me like all your Halloween stuff, because I love to dress up. I love to do a little movie reference. I don't know, it's just fun and silly. So either what you're doing, especially as we get later into the month, as you attend events, please share those with us, because I fucking love it. Even if it's just something like really simple and stupid, something I love that I've seen is the recent show The Rehearsal, where Nathan Fielder's show The Rehearsal. He walks around with this like laptop like sort of carrier.
Yeah.
And on Amazon, they're selling out because people are like, yeah, I can just wear like khakis and a gray shirt with a little laptop carrier and a MacBook, and I'm Nathan from The Rehearsal. And I'm like, that's fucking perfect. Just something like subtle but like comfortable, but still like the perfect reference. I love a clever thing like that.
Yeah.
But so yeah, send us that shit, because we love to see it. And also, we're going into October. We're probably, we're getting in the mood. We're getting in the vibe. So send us also all of your favorite cozy fall Halloween-y type movies, and just any movie that you'd like to hear us talk about. A theme, suggestions, chocolate or vanillas, you know the drill. And also just slide into our DMs to just say hi or whatever. We fucking love that shit. And we love all of you. And goodbye and good night.